There's a certain degree to which Bright Leaves is really about family and what one generation passes down to the next, legacy. And I think that's something that all of us, just by definition of being alive on Earth, have some thoughts about, because we've all inherited certain things from the generations before us, our parents or grandparents, and how does what we've inherited transmute or transform in our existences from the way it began with our generations before. I mean, I think that's a kind of universal concern. And the other thing the film is really about is notions of home, what home means, at least to me, and I think all of us have a sense of home, either wanting to get away from home or yearning to get back to it. And I think for me it was more in this case a yearning to get back to it. I think that I'm driven by the same impulses that compel countless millions of people to videotape their families. America's funniest home movies. I mean, that's me. That was me 25 years ago before there were video home movies. I was always doing it. And I think I'm very aware of the paradox of filming, that it doesn't really slow anything down. It doesn't really preserve anything permanently. And I address some of those issues in Bright Leaves. And yet I'm very, very interested in this documentation and seeing how much we as individuals change over time. And it's not just within this film. Certain people have appeared in this film have also appeared in the 4 or 5 films I've made before this, Sherman's March and Time Indefinite and 6 O'Clock News, and now Bright Leaves. And I think those films span 20 years now. That the degree to which we stay the same and also the degree to which we change is very intriguing to me. The most enjoyable aspect of making documentary films, or at least the way in which I make them, is that I'm able to follow my own curiosity and my own intuitions about life as I'm filming. I'm not working from a pre-production script. I don't do pre-interviews, and so it really is a matter of allowing myself to be constantly surprised by life. And that works very well for me. I mean, there are certainly, probably most filmmakers prefer the other alternative, where you're carefully controlling everything. And there's a lot to be said for that, and it certainly yields a certain kind of film. And documentary yields very polished kind of work. My films aren't highly polished, and they're not meant to be. And certainly for making fiction films, for the most part, you have to be that way. You have to control everything. But for me, the surrender of that control gives me a certain pleasure as a filmmaker. And I think that's probably the thing I enjoy the most.